Tonight, we hairy game lords have been playing this Moneymaker. What did we think? Find out. So, Moneymaker, guys.
Yes, we've been sent this. This is a prototype. It's coming to a crowdfunding website near you soon.
Check the link.
There we go. Do that. Check the link.
So, in essence, this is a game about being a merchant banker. Way! Everybody loves a good banker.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you are.
I am
quite the banker.
Quite the banker. Anyway, so this is quite a straightforward game. Everybody has 4 cards. You can auction things and picking one of a range of beautiful properties that produce goods and services for everybody to have a chance to buy. You can buy products and services. You can sell products and services, or you can make a margin call where basically you have to pay off debts and everybody goes bust. And that's it. 4 cards. And when you play the auction card, you get to pick up the cards that you've already played to go again. So you can't just keep buying, you can't just keep selling. Really simple game, nice and balanced. However, most games, you have money.
Yes.
In this, you have a little bit of money.
Tiny amount.
Tiny amounts of money. If you're James...
I had quite a bit of money. Quite a lot of points.
Yeah.
However, what you mainly have is, these are tiny, but they're quite important in this, is debt. So, whenever you buy a property, or whenever you buy goods and services, you pay for it.
You pay your credit, don't you?
Credit.
And there is a lot of credit.
You have.
There's loads and loads. A whole
Credit.
baggie full of credit. So much credit. So tempting just to get.
Just chuck it on the board.
Lob it
James.
everywhere. Just go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Dan, in the first game we played, we had our first auction, and we were kind of working out what a property might be worth. It's got a score on the top of it. It'll be a multiplier against the cost of the goods or services.
And we were quite. Oh, this is the first auction. Let's
auction.
Let's be
The
careful.
value of the minimum bid might have been about 10 florins or whatever. So,
Dan,
we're thinking maybe 15, 20 at a push.
Yeah.
Nope. Some people didn't think.
This was last week.
What did we come in with, Dan?
I think one of them was about 40.
Yeah, 40 something. 40.
it was like 2008 all over again.
Yep.
So yeah, when you pay for something with credit, it goes spread around the board. However, if people don't trust you very much, all of your eggs have to go in one basket. And as you become more trustworthy and the market, has confidence in you, you can start splitting your debt around the board.
I had the most confidence in me actually all the way through the game.
Yeah.
We won the why.
However, at the end of each round, you roll the dice, and if you've got loads of confidence in you, your debts can be split into 6 parts, even or not. Depends how you want to risk things. If you're not very trustworthy, everything is in one pile. So you roll the dice, and all of the debt that is in that part of the city has to be repaid in full. Doesn't it, Dan?
Yes.
And
Why are we concentrating on me on this time?
So, the more trustworthy you are, the more you can spread your debt around, consolidate things, and you can take less risk. If you're not very trusted, you have to put a lot more risk in, and it can either go well or really badly.
It did it for me last week.
We've had 2 games of this, which probably actually tells you something about what we're going to say tonight.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But that whole spreading your risk is very clever and really makes you, for a 4-card game, I think really does start to make you think about what you're doing. And the other really cool thing is, obviously you have credit, you can get other people's credit that you can spend on stuff if they're solvent. So if they owe loads of money and loads of debt to the bank and it's called in, James, but you have loads of their debt, you can't use that to pay off your own debts. If you've got credit from somebody who's trustworthy, Pete was quite regularly trustworthy.
Most of the time.
You can use any credit that Pete has given to you to pay off your own debts, which is,
It's pretty cool, actually.
It is.
Does feel really cool. So, as we've already alluded to, cash does not really flow very much in this game. There is an opportunity for you to set one of those cards is an opportunity for you to sell your product back into the market, an ever diminishing market as well when you're selling. So that the cash, you don't end up with a lot of cash. No. So it is really great to pay off your debt
with other people's debt.
It's a great feeling, especially if you're trying to save up the money for something else. So you can just, here we go, I'm just going to be debt free. But you guys are now in debt. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, it is a sweet, sweet feeling.
I think my favourite thing to watch was, so when there's the run on the bank and everyone's like, oh, quick, we're going to need to get our money out of the bank. Like, it's really interesting watching around the table the way that we played it. I think you're not supposed to go around in turns. It's more like financial chaos. Because you're watching as you paid off. I mean, there were a couple of times when I did pay off all my stuff very quickly. And then you're watching as everyone's kind of waiting until somebody makes a deal and then, oh wait, now they're solvent, so their credit is worth something and I can finally do that. And then they're solvent and there's this kind of nice chain reaction that moves around. So that's really fascinating to watch.
That was really quite cool. Now, one of the really cool things about this is there are loads of extra rules that you can add in. And to be honest, we just kind of went,
let's do it.
Let's just do it. Yeah. So
in for a penny.
The basic rules, if somebody becomes insolvent and can't pay their debts, you can just have basically an auction for anybody solvent can bid for their stuff, they lose their stuff, and away you go. However, one of the extra rules is the person that's insolvent basically can go to the market and start horse trading with anything they've got, basically. Their credits, their goods, service, chits, any property they own. But yeah, they can do some horse trading to try and get themselves solvent. But having that sort of freedom to go, shall we do the extra rules, is great, I think, for people that haven't played a lot or people that just want to go, let's do some horse trading here.
I think on that, actually, this game works when you've got a group who's ready to take a risk and to make the game move. If you've got a bunch of us, if we're all kind of like waiting and waiting and waiting, we'd have a boring stalemate. So that rule worked really well for us, but I can imagine it wouldn't work in some groups where everyone's holding out for the optimum move.
Yeah, just go and auction.
That'd be really boring. Don't play like that, please. Take some risks.
There's
throw the credit around.
So there's also then you've got also the thing of you can pay off your debt with somebody else's debt, which is great. But if you're able to hang on to their credit until the end of the game, then it's like they get a double kicking. So you get the points for having their credit, and then they lose points for the credit that they've got out in different people's camps. So if you can hold on to that credit,
that is really, really worth it.
Really powerful.
And the end game scoring is absolutely, it's really hard to get a definitive idea. I think you can tell the people who have done really badly and the people that you think have done all right, but actually there's so much shrink because nearly everything is hidden information. The only information you can see is what's on the board. So you've got an idea from that of who's doing potentially really badly.
James.
It was just because all my credits out on the board, but then I made a lot of points.
So James
and
had,
lost them all.
when we were, the way you total the points, that you first of all go all through all your positives, all your, you go through the stuff in the black first, and then you have to pay your credit back, and that obviously. And at one point, James was way out in the lead. Most of us were on the 50-60 mark. James was over 100. Wow. It was on 103, and then. After the first subtraction, that was just taking what was on the board off, He went down to 6. There was a lot. He had been doing a lot of purchasing on that, but using his credit, and hadn't cleared much of that credit. Had we had another couple of rounds, James might have been able to get some cash and pay some of that off, and swing that back.
Last game, Dan screwed 2 of us over by selling loads of goods towards the end.
Yeah, but I lost that game by a
massive
margin.
You just played Kingmaker. Dan sold loads of goods, which selling loads of stuff brings the market price crashing to the ground, which meant all of a sudden me and Ange were sat there with pretty much worthless stuff.
Yeah.
And Pete got to buy a bunch of stuff, which increased the market value. All of a sudden
of the properties that I had got the most of.
Yeah.
So
the way the properties work in final scoring, they have a multiplier on them of either goods or services. So, for example, the wood market is going to give you 6 points for 6 times whatever the market value of services are. Some of those are goods, and I'd got a set
You were
of
very heavy on the services.
I was very heavy on services. Everybody else had bought goods.
Yeah.
So I bought, in my penultimate round, bought a whole load of services to ratchet up the markup on these, and then sold all of my
goods.
Goods.
Dan sold all the goods. All of a
which
sudden they were
wiped that market out
diddly
completely
squat.
and swung the game beautifully last time. So Dan and I...
Well, Dan got minus 62 and pushed you for the win.
Which I was pleased with, really. Well, I was quite happy with that.
Who wouldn't be?
I enjoyed the game. It was fun.
But Dan clearly learned something.
Seriously?
I played a little bit different this week.
This week he won with 69, dude. So good times.
Yeah.
Good times indeed. So we like the game. It's safe to say.
Really like the game.
Really like the game. The game is beautifully thematic throughout. The board is really nice. The artwork on it is great. The events that take place at the end of each round, again, really written really well. Really thematic. Just really cleverly done.
Yeah.
Although this is a prototype, it's a really nice quality. And we usually only play a game once and then review it. We wanted to come back and play this game again. We wanted James to be able to play it. So it plays up to 6 players this game.
Yeah.
And so we played at 4 last week. Adding another player in didn't really lengthen the game too much.
No. I don't think
it didn't outstay its welcome at all.
No.
It was still a really good game.
Including setup and a bit of teach, this was probably an hour and 40 minutes for a 5-player game. And there aren't many 5-player games that aren't just a party game that would be able to play, set up and teach in that time.
Yeah.
And you can also, it goes up to 6, but you can extend or shorten the game time depending on how many bank runs basically you want to do. So the standard is 3, but you could do 2, you could do 4. Goes up to 5 if you want to go really crazy and really
like to
milk
play
the
it
market.
Yeah,
And to be honest,
yeah.
I think I would be quite happy playing up to 5 bank runs.
Yeah.
Seeing as you can then really push towards the end game if you think you've got the edge, or desperately try and delay things, which I think James would have been quite happy to do.
I think it's like it felt educational in that, like, I don't know anything about money. I mean, stock market stuff, and like Dave was trying to explain how credit works and how I can give somebody else credit. And I honestly, like, normally when Dave talks, I listen really intently, but it did feel very like bouncing off my head today. But by the end of the game, I feel I understand enough to know that I shouldn't dabble in the stock market. But the other thing I was going to say about this is like, there's a lot of negotiation in this. I'm not strong with negotiation because I'm a really nice guy. And there was a point when I could have majorly stuck the knife in a screw Dave to keep him solvent, and I didn't. And I kind of wish I did, because then I would have got a positive point.
Yeah.
But then saying that, Dan also didn't screw anyone. Like, you didn't stick the knife in anyone, and you came out top.
There we go.
No, you just gradually accumulated. I think because kind of overlooked you as a threat after last week. We were all watching out for Pete after last week, and I think we kind of took our eye off Dan.
I'm good at slipping under the radar.
And he slipped under the radar and just accumulated, to be honest, not loads of anything.
No,
You just accumulated some of everything on the points.
And you didn't spend too much.
No, I always made sure I had what I needed to pay off with.
What
To
did
be.
you get?
That's right. And in fact, no one had any of your credit, did they?
No.
Yeah.
So
Even
let
though I
that,
did give it out quite a lot at the beginning.
let that be a lesson to you, children.
There we go.
always be prepared. Prince Adam says, always be prepared to pay off your debt.
Check this game out. We really, really, really enjoyed it. It's a clever game. There's lots and lots of interaction around the table. This is by no means a game where you are solo playing throughout.
No,
You just
absolutely not.
Interacting, and you are paying attention to everybody's go around the table because it will influence what you do.
Very much so.
It's a great, great game. We really, really enjoyed this and hope that it can go and do really well at crowdfunding. Get involved, peeps.
Definitely 2 thumbs up from me.
All of us.
Across the board. It's a clean sweep.
Clean sweep indeed.
Hello. This evening.
Hello.
And so it begins. It's 3 in the morning. This is our 527th take, and Pete is still dicking about.
What do you mean, Dave?